Colombia has backed down in a row over migrants with Donald Trump after the U.S. president threatened to hit the South American country with punitive tariffs. On Sunday, Mr. Trump said he would impose the measures on Colombia in an angry response to the South American country blocking migrant deportation flights. Mr. Trump warned the measures, including immediate 25% taxes on Colombian goods among a broad range of sanctions, were only just the beginning. He said tariffs would increase to 50% after 1 week. A few hours later, the White House announced it was shelving the tariffs plan after Colombia agreed to accept deported migrants, but other penalties would remain in place. Colombia has agreed to unrestricted acceptance of all illegal aliens from Colombia returned from the United States, including on U.S. military aircraft, without limitation or delay. A White House statement said, "Today's events make clear to the world that America is respected again," it added. President Trump will continue to fiercely protect our nation's sovereignty, and he expects all other nations of the world to fully cooperate in accepting the deportation of their citizens illegally present in the United States. Colombia's foreign minister confirmed it had overcome the impasse with Washington and added that it would continue receiving Colombians who return as deportees. Gustavo Petro, the left-wing president of Colombia, on Sunday infuriated Mr. Trump when he blocked 2 repatriation flights over poor treatment of the migrants on board. Details had emerged over the weekend of alleged mistreatment of migrants on planes touching down in other Latin American countries, including claims they were denied toilet breaks and water. Mr. Petro, a former guerrilla leader, insisted that migrants be expelled on civilian planes to show them the dignity and respect they deserve. He wrote on X, "A migrant is not a criminal and must be treated with the dignity that a human being deserves. That is why I turned back the U.S. military planes that were carrying Colombian migrants. We will receive our fellow citizens on civilian planes without treating them like criminals." The aircraft had taken off from California with 80 migrants aboard each when Colombia pulled their airspace clearances, a U.S. official told Reuters. Mr. Trump has undertaken a sweeping immigration crackdown, pledging to use mass deportations to remove undocumented migrants from the U.S. The president's blitz is well underway, with hundreds of people deported within his first week back in office, the White House reported. The first flights took off to Guatemala on Thursday, while Brazil, Mexico, and El Salvador are also understood to be destinations eyed up by the new administration. However, the mass deportations have been met with a backlash from some South American leaders who have complained about the inhumane treatment of those on board. Brazil's Ministry of Foreign Affairs demanded an explanation from the U.S. government over the degrading treatment of its people on a deportation flight. Mexico has also refused a request to allow a U.S. military aircraft deporting migrants to land on its soil, NBC News reported, though a reason was not given by Mexican officials. On Friday, Brazilian deportees arrived from the U.S. with their hands and feet shackled, and some reported inhumane conditions aboard their flights. One passenger claimed they were denied water or access to the bathroom during the flight, while hot conditions had caused some people to faint. Ricardo Lewandowski, the country's justice minister, told Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, the president of Brazil, that the treatment of the migrants showed a flagrant disregard for the fundamental rights of Brazilian citizens, according to a government statement. The flight, carrying 88 migrants, was forced to make an unscheduled stop in Manaus, in the Amazon, where Brazilian police reportedly ordered U.S. officials to immediately remove the passengers' handcuffs. After he was informed of the incident, Mr. da Silva ordered that the passengers be flown aboard a Brazilian Air Force plane to complete their journey with dignity and safety, the statement read. Edgar da Silva Moura, a 31-year-old computer technician, was on the flight after 7 months in detention in the United States. On the plane, they didn't give us water. We were tied hands and feet. They wouldn't even let us go to the bathroom, he told AFP. It was very hot. Some people fainted. Luis Antonio Rodriguez Santos, 21, described it as a nightmare and said people with respiratory problems struggled during 4 hours without air conditioning due to technical issues on the plane. The Trump administration is reportedly working on an asylum agreement with El Salvador to allow the U.S. to deport migrants to the Central American country, even if they are not from there. The arrangement would designate El Salvador as a safe third country, government sources told CBS, in a move not dissimilar to the UK's former Rwanda scheme. The deal could be a significant step for the president's tough immigration plans, enabling the U.S. to deport migrants from countries such as Venezuela, which has previously refused to take back its citizens. To see through the president's aggressive immigration agenda, the government has fast-tracked the process for blocking visa applications, granted federal agents increased powers to detain migrants, and scrapped restrictions on where migrants can be arrested, according to the Wall Street Journal. Democrats have condemned Mr. Trump's deportation drive as disturbing, claiming the Republican is expelling law-abiding migrants. J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, told CNN, "They're going after people who are law-abiding, who are holding down jobs, who have families here, who may have been here for a decade or 2 decades." Tom Homan, Mr. Trump's border czar, said that migrants who pose a threat to public safety have been prioritized for deportation, and that Americans should expect to see flights take off on a daily basis. You can see the numbers steadily increase, the number of arrests nationwide, as we open up the aperture, he said. Right now it's considering public safety threats, national security threats. That's a smaller population. But as that aperture opens, there'll be more arrests nationwide.